Well, hi everyone, welcome to our daily blog today on Saturday as we bring this first week of looking at spirituality to a close and the idea of journeying to the source of our faith. And I'm inside tonight because it was pretty late, but we wanted to get the daily blog out today. We're looking at a passage called Isaiah chapter 6, the great call of Isaiah. And it's one of those passages that sort of grips who we are in our imaginations, because I can remember some years ago now, I went on a training day with a storyteller called Simon, and the idea was to help us to see the Bible as a story and engage with it as a story, not just something we read, but something we live inside and see through our imaginations. And he chose this passage and he said, by the end of this day, you'll be able to recite this passage without word perfect, without having to have notes or be reading it from a page, because you will actually be in it and discovering it for yourself. So that's what I'd like to try and encourage us to do as we share these words over the next few minutes. Isaiah chapter 6. The scene is set in the time of King Uzziah, which is in the part of Israel's history when everything is not going well for the land of Israel. And then this prophet comes almost out of nowhere called Isaiah, and he's in the temple. And this is what he has to say. In the year that King Uzziah died, I saw the Lord high and exalted, seated on a throne, and the train of his robe filled the whole temple. Above him were seraphim, each with 6 wings, and with 2 wings they covered their faces, and with 2 wings they covered their feet, and with 2 wings they were flying. And they were calling to one another, Holy, holy, holy is the Lord Almighty, and the whole earth is full of his glory. I wonder what image that gives you. Imagine a huge building. The temple was one of the great wonders of the world, and in this great building there are these strange characters called the seraphim with 6 wings. And although we might get sort of caught up in what in the world does that look like, imagine something very beautiful, very dynamic, very powerful. And they're calling to one another, Holy, holy, holy is the Lord Almighty, and the whole earth is full of his glory. I wonder what that gives you in terms of an image of awe and wonder. Maybe you've been in a situation where you've been overwhelmed by the enormity of something, how amazing, how big it is, whether it be a mountain or the size of the ocean or whatever. I can remember going skiing one time and seeing this enormous mountain and hearing the ice cracking above me, thousands of feet up. I felt so small and yet also never so alive. Something of that, I think, is captured in this image. At the sound of their voices, the doorposts and the thresholds shook, and the temple was filled with smoke. Woe to me, I cried. I am ruined, for I am a man of unclean lips, and I live among a people of unclean lips, and my eyes have seen the King, the Lord Almighty. There's something about that, isn't there? When we sometimes have those awesome experiences, and especially if it's in terms of our relationship with God, we can actually be very much reminded of our own failings and shortcomings, a bit like Peter, remembering that he'd heard the cock crow 3 times and he denied his best friend. What we don't see is God. What we see is all our shortcomings and failings. It's often been described as looking at the shadow that is behind us rather than the sunlight that is before us. That can be sometimes how we feel. Then one of the seraphim flew to me with a live coal in his hand, which he had taken with tongs from the altar. With it he touched my mouth and said, See, this has touched your lips. Your guilt is taken away and your sin is atoned for. That is absolutely incredible good news. It probably sounds very strange, but imagine this hot coal being placed on your lips, not to burn you, but indeed to cleanse you and to heal you, to heal me, to take away from me all those feelings of inadequacy and guilt and low self-worth, everything that so often preoccupies many people's lives, including our own. All those feelings of inadequacy taken from us so that we're truly set free. Surely it should be the other way around, but actually, no, we are cleansed, we are healed, we are made clean by this living and loving God. This is one of the great gifts of our spiritual life. When we spend time in prayer, we become very aware of God's grace at the very heart of who we are. That behind it all, with all the other things that are going on in our lives, actually it all melts away, and we discover not then darkness but light, not then condemnation but love. These are wonderful moments and beautiful things captured by Isaiah himself. Then I heard a voice of the Lord saying, "Whom shall I send, and who will go for us?" And Isaiah says, "Here I am, send me." And then next week we'll look at this in more detail. Have a good rest of the day. God bless everyone. Bye for now.